Sisters,
we shall not yield to tyranny.
Our cause just we will prevail. The fight
Hello,
for our
Mr.
rights.
Buffs. Ready for a journey back? Look at this encampment. The spirit of 76 is alive.
Bobby, at this
Hello,
point,
history.
shame on you. Shame on you. Because we are being played as the American people. Our money is funding a war that we don't need to be in. I shouldn't be okay with it. So as long as I have breath in my body and a mic to use, I will be speaking out against this.
A true patriot savors these moments, but the fight for liberty calls.
The economy, we have a global economy. That's why we're a number one economy in the world. I know that a lot of people want to paint the horrible view of America, but, you know, go live somewhere else and then tell me America's bad.
Patriotism is all about. Look at these flags. They represent our fight for liberty. This is what
so
American
freaking crazy to me that we have an conflict with Iran before a single person from the Epstein files has been arrested on American soil.
The hour of our liberty is at hand. For freedom is bravo. Brothers
I
and
was
sisters.
working, man, you know, but it's good to see Rippy out there handling business, man. And again, hey, that's a lot of black Trump supporters, man. I mean, it feels good to see that, man. So
My fellow patriots, the hour of decision is upon us. Let us march forth with courage to secure our liberty.
A real quote. People are getting sick of it. The moment a celebrity steps slightly outside the leftist approved narrative, they get attacked. Chili from TLC gets heat over allegedly donating to Donald Trump.
For liberty. The British advance. We must act.
Our supplies are low, but morale is high.
Then we fight for liberty.
Payne's word captures the spirit of we fight for independence.
With
Welcome to my
that said they were anti-war. I think they said no new wars. Yeah, they voted for a president that was not going to start any new wars. And what's funny to me is that not only were you lied to, not only did this man start this and get out of the
freedom. Greetings from the encampment. The spirit of liberty is strong. We will fight for our rights and our freedom.
Just in order to get the Greater Israel Project accomplished, you have to kill people. That's why it's wrong. Killing people is wrong, full stop. So you can try to make sense of it with, well, it's a threat and this and that. There's no greater threat than the United States empire.
To the encampment for liberty.
And what I've learned, and I'm not a liberal or a Democrat. I voted for Trump the first time, but he's become a politician. He lies like all the other politicians. He deceives like all the other politicians.
Endures through every change and challenge. We stand at the dawn of liberty, unshaken by the trials ahead. Our cause enduring.
I'm going to go out on the limb and say anybody that sits in that oval does not like Americans. They love the United States, though, which is the politics, but they don't love the Americans. Americans are farmers. Americans are mechanics. Americans are school teachers. Americans are mom and pop businesses.
And friendly! Soldiers, the enemy is near.
Not only do I love my FBA fam, my Black American fam, my Black people on code, you know, my people that's allies with us as part of the fam. I love y'all. I love my country too. You feel me?
People see my physique and assume I'm just some dumb Chad. But in reality, I graduated 5th in my law school class, magna cum laude. I got awards for getting the highest grade in my class in constitutional law, criminal law, and legal analysis and writing. I knew I was the smartest I'd ever been in my life.
The cause to victory.
to victory. These pastries are wonderful.
Indeed, but we must stay vigilant.
Let's take a look back at that merger with JetBlue that could have saved Spirit Airlines. You go back to the merger. The merger itself was $1 billion per year in consumer savings, 10,000 new direct jobs by 2026, and 1,000 daily flights to 145 plus destinations. Remember, Spirit, along with JetBlue, are the low-cost airlines, not the big ones like American, United, Southwest, and Delta. So you look back in the history. So in 2023, Biden administration sued to block that nearly $4 billion merger. 2024, the federal judge blocked it. The Biden administration brought that lawsuit. It caused Spirit not once, but twice to file for bankruptcy in 2024, in 2025. Then, of course, what we saw play out yesterday, 277 flights canceled, boom, dropped 17,000 jobs. 17,000 workers are out of a job today. Could push fares up by $100.
Good morning and welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine and I'm the host of Weekend and Weekday Recap, bringing you the stories everyone's talking about and the ones they don't want you to hear. We're breaking down all the latest in politics, culture, and the moments that shape the headlines live at 6 a.m. every Monday and Friday morning. So grab your coffee, wake up your mind, and let's get into it, only here on The New Party. Good morning, America. Welcome to Weekend Recap with The New Party. I'm your host, Nora Christine. And this morning, we will be talking about the Spirit Airlines shutdown. Okay, so did Trump cause it due to the Strait of Hormuz closure, or did Biden cause it? Because there was a potential merger that the Biden administration blocked between Spirit and at the time JetBlue, which would have strengthened their position in the airlines industry. But you know, people like to forget history and they blame Trump for everything. I will say that the high fuel prices is a factor in it. I will say that, because we are actively in war with Iran. We are actively seeing the Strait of Hormuz close. We are actively seeing things that are hurting us as Americans, unfortunately, okay? And I cannot say that Trump is not to blame for any of this. However, we need to also factor in the fact that the Biden administration blocked the merger. I do believe, had that not been done, they would have had a fighting chance to live another year at the very least. But we'll get into it this morning. If you're watching, please support the live by hitting the like button. Again, we are in an active war. I will be talking about the Strait of Hormuz closure. I will be telling you things mainstream media will not be telling you, because we are being lied to by the mainstream media. We have been lied to, and we continue to be lied to, unfortunately. But that's why independent media must survive. So if you guys are fans of independent media, I'm asking you, please hit the like button. And if you have extra coins and these gas prices ain't affecting you like that, send a super chat. But nevertheless, let's get into it this morning. Guys, we are going to break down some things. I have another clip to show you while I pull up my article. Here we go.
Proposal and expects an announcement soon, but insists any agreement would only move forward if it's a good deal for the country. Meanwhile, Spirit has been struggling financially, and critics are questioning whether federal support would amount to a taxpayer bailout. But if Spirit does fail, what happens next? New Jersey reporter Tony Yates live at Newark Airport with some answers. Tony?
And Sade, we just watched the Spirit Airlines flight take off at 4:07 this afternoon here at Newark Liberty Airport. So right now it is business as usual, though some of the customers we spoke to are wondering what is next when it comes to this airline and what will happen with their return trips home.
So spoiler alert, okay, it did shut down, and we're going to get into that as well, guys. So let me share my screen. Spirit Airlines collapses, okay? Passengers were stranded in cities like Fort Lauderdale. Passengers were left stranded. People were stuck. They didn't know. But see, this is the thing. If you were following independent media, you would have known, because we talked about this. We said, hey, if you got a flight on Spirit, make sure you cancel and find a new booking, because the government did give ample warning. They were telling passengers, please get another flight. Also, the government put things in place where other airlines had to help those stranded passengers. So everybody's blaming Trump, but this was expected. Refunds have been promised, but some may have to wait. In its official announcement, Spirit Airlines said the shutdown took effect immediately and urged passengers not to go to the airport. We saw an empty Spirit Airlines ticket. I'll play that clip next. Loyalty points are worthless at this point. Guys, if you are a loyal Spirit customer, your points are worthless, okay? Airfares are expected to rise, guys. We are expecting another $100 in airfare prices. If you have that summer trip coming up, I would suggest you buy a ticket ASAP or wait to buy it or not go at all, because it is going to go up, unfortunately. However, I do believe it will balance out, guys. I mean, the reality is this. More demand sometimes means the prices go down. The supply has to increase at some point. They're going to have to move those planes somewhere. They're going to have to move those workers somewhere. So as more demand now due to Spirit Airlines closing, the more budget-friendly airlines like Southwest and JetBlue will have to pick up the slack, which hopefully means they will be stronger in return. What other airlines are doing to help? Airlines and travel companies are stepping up to absorb the disruption. United Airlines says it's offering capped rescue fares to stranded Spirit Airlines passengers, with most tickets priced at $199 and longer routes up to $299. Guys, that's not bad for prices. I'm going to be honest with you. Even before this, you couldn't find a flight outside of Spirit or even Frontier for less than $200-$300. So that's really not a bad price. So if you guys are stranded, make sure you guys reach out to United. I just want to put that out there. American Airlines has rolled out similar discounted fares on routes shared with Spirit Airlines and is weighing adding more flights and larger aircraft. Again, it's going to balance out. It is going to balance out, okay? Delta Airlines says it has filed reduced non-refundable rescue fares. JetBlue is offering $99 one-way rescue fares. $99, you cannot beat that. I don't even think you could get a $99 flight on Spirit. People are blaming Trump for this, guys. And I don't think it's all Trump's fault. In that first clip you saw me play, I talked about how they prevented the merger, and we'll get into it more. Travelers caught off guard. People are really shocked that this is happening. But again, if you would have been watching independent media, then therefore you would have known that this was coming, because independent media has been reporting on it. I know the mainstream media does not, but let's first go into why they're blaming Trump. Spirit Airlines shuts down due to Iran war fuel crisis. Other low-cost airlines could be next. I just want to put out there, I don't think many people know this, but Trump's administration offered a deal to them, but they refused it. Trump's administration said, hey, we want to be the majority stakeholder in your airlines. And in turn, you have to help us with your, by giving us your aircraft supply, because it's expensive to make planes. They didn't want to do that. So hence, here we are. People are cheering it on, and they're saying, good for Spirit for saying, F you to the Trump administration. No, you guys went bankrupt twice, not once, but twice. And one of the times was under Biden. The first time was under Biden's administration. So while y'all are blaming the Trump administration, this has been going on since Joe Biden was in office. And we're going to break that down. But let's talk about the fuel aspect of it, guys. If you're watching, please hit the like button. The low-cost Spirit Airlines announced Saturday that it has officially gone out of business after years of financial hardship, citing rising fuel costs resulting from the Iran war as the final cost. Okay. They filed two bankruptcies, 2024 and 2025. Who was president in 2024? Who was president for 4 years at that point? Joe Biden. Okay. Joe Biden. And they said that the airline informed consumers that all flights had been canceled and that refunds were being processed. Spirit Airlines, founded in 1983, it was rebranded in 1992, and it flew around 30 million passengers a year. Okay. And there was a sharp drop from a peak of over 44 million in 2023 and 2024. So basically, they've been on the decline. I don't know if you guys have rode Spirit lately, but their product sucks. I made a video on this. I said they keep you waiting long to get off the plane. They keep you waiting long to get your luggage. They are the worst. I have to say Spirit was the worst. I refuse to fly Spirit. Hey, but some people liked it. I also didn't like the passengers. That was just me. So Spirit has been in financial difficulty long before the Iran war started. I want to read this out loud, guys. Let me put this in the chat for you. Okay. Spirit has been in financial difficulty long before the war started. All right. We need to keep this in mind. Let me put that on the screen. All right. They've been in financial difficulty. That's not Trump's fault. That's not the Trump administration's fault. They need to get it together. Okay. They need to get it. That has nothing to do with Trump. Okay. Dave Davis, Spirit's president, said the sudden and sustained rise in fuel prices in recent weeks is the reason for a company's closure. Yeah. Okay. According to JP Morgan analyst cited by the Wall Street Journal, if fuel prices remains elevated, Spirit's costs would have risen by $360 million by the end of the year. The company's closure followed years in which larger airlines have adapted to compete with Spirit's low-cost budget savings services, loyalty programs, flying perks. Yeah, because nobody wants to ride Spirit because their product sucked. Again, when you ride Spirit, they nickel and dime you. I remember one time, guys, I had a carry-on bag. It was 1 pound overweight. Let me tell you how petty Spirit was. They charged me $70 for an overweight fee for something 1 pound overweight. On other airlines, if it's like a few pounds, they'll let it slide. Oh no, not Spirit. Spirit was not playing, okay? And again, these are factors into it. I know people don't like to talk about that reality, but the quality is horrible. Let me show you the type of passengers you would also see on Spirit, guys. I want to share this with you guys. So yeah, that's why for me, again, I don't give a damn about Spirit. I said yesterday, I made a video on it. I said, I don't care. This was low class ghetto airways. Their service sucked. They sucked. I have videos of their crappy service. I'm not sad. Okay. But however, let me tell you the rest of the article. Duffy is the transportation secretary, Sean Duffy. He said, instead, he's blaming the Biden administration and former transportation secretary Pete Buttigieg for Spirit's closure after the Justice Department sued to block a 2023 potential merger between it and larger competitor JetBlue. Biden's Justice Department said the merger would cause tens of millions of travelers to face higher fares and fewer choices. What? Now we have fewer choices now. At least we would have had a stronger JetBlue and Spirit Airlines together. This honestly is horrible, and you guys really should be blaming that as the reason, because had they would have allowed the merger, we wouldn't be here. Okay. Trump has spent the past few weeks floating a possible bailout, pitching a $500 million federal deal that would have led to the federal government owning up to 90% of the airlines. Hey, that's how it is. That's life. When you get bailed out, sometimes you have to take a deal you don't necessarily want to take. Sometimes you have to give majority of the stake to the person bailing you out. Why should the government keep bailing people out for nothing? Okay. Why should the government keep bailing people out when we don't have a stake in it? I'm sick of giving out these endless loans to these companies and their bad business models. It's not fair. Okay. He told CNBC Squawk Box in April that he would love to buy Spirit. It's 14,000 jobs. And maybe the federal government should help this one out. His interest drew concerns from Republicans and Democrats alike, although who questioned whether a takeover of Spirit was the best use of U.S. tax dollars. So one's in the chat if you think Trump should have bought them. Two's in the chat if you are proud of Spirit for saying no. One's in the chat if you think Trump should have bought them. Two's in the chat if you think Spirit should continue to say no. Are there other low-cost airlines under threats, guys? We need to keep this in mind. Since the beginning of the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran on February 28th, the price of jet fuel has increased nearly 70%. Okay. We are feeling it at the pump. I don't know about where you live, but in Florida, the gas is $5. Like, that's the reality, guys. I am feeling it. We're all feeling it. And I have a hybrid car and I'm feeling it. So I could only imagine people with big premium vehicles or even diesel truck drivers, how much they're feeling it. I mean, I have a personal friend who had a trucking business and he had to end his business to go back to work for someone now because he could not afford the high fuel diesel prices. So this is a reality, guys. The crisis has impacted practically every airline and air traveler. So basically, smaller airlines around the world are having to make harder decisions due to their tighter profit margins. In mid-April, Mexican holiday airline Magni Charters canceled all flights for 2 weeks, stranding people in Cancun, Merida, and Huatulco. Meanwhile, Ryanair, Europe's largest airline, said it is considering reducing routes, along with smaller airlines like Vietnam Airlines, Air Asia, and Scandinavian Airlines, all due to the rising prices. So in reality, the rising prices will be affecting things. However, I just don't think that the rising prices are the reason for this particular situation. I don't think it was. I think we honestly need to go back and consider their bad business model. Go back and consider, hold on, I want to show you guys something.
Airlines ticket counter, Spirit, one of the biggest carriers here at Fort Lauderdale. This was their hub airport. Now you can see there's a note posted at the ticket counter saying they have ceased operations. The kiosks say the same thing, and virtually nobody here. It's basically a ghost town because I turn around, you can see me and maybe a sheriff's deputy milling about, but otherwise there's no one here. The airline is, for all intents and purposes, out of business. They've begun liquidating. Tens of thousands of flyers had to find new ways home over the weekend. Thousands of employees are out of a job. And as for the future of the space Spirit occupied at airports like Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, in New York, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, those will be up for grabs as the airline starts to liquidate. Spirit says they have issued the vast majority of the refunds to credit card and debit card holders, so those should be coming back to people who had reservations to fly Spirit. As for the folks that were stuck midway through a trip, other airlines stepped up to offer discounted fares. United said in the first 12 hours, they rebooked about 14,000 stranded Spirit flyers.
So yeah, guys, if you are flying Spirit, please know your flight has been canceled. Please consider moving on and getting a refund. But guys, we're going to switch gears here. I'm going to talk about the Strait of Hormuz. If you're watching, please hit the like button, support independent media by hitting the like button. So right now where we're at, Iran warns it will attack U.S. forces if they enter the Strait of Hormuz after Trump says U.S. will help guide stranded ships. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but there are ships that are stranded in the strait, guys. There are sailors stranded out there. So although I am not necessarily for this war, I am for America doing what they have to do at this point to get the strait open. And I think we're all pretty much there. We may not have been for how we got here, but now we have to support getting this going. And unfortunately, I do think it's going to have to lead to military intervention. Iranian military says it will respond harshly to any threat after Trump warns the interference with U.S. operation in Hormuz will be dealt with forcefully. I think we're here, unfortunately, guys. Iran's military says it will attack if U.S. forces enter Hormuz. The head of the Iranian Military Unified Command has said U.S. or any other foreign armed forces will be attacked if they enter the strait. So he said, we have repeatedly said the security of the strait is in our hands and that the safe passage of vessels needs to be coordinated with the armed forces. We warn that any foreign armed forces, especially the aggressive U.S. Army, will be attacked if they enter. This is not good, guys. I mean, again, we are seeing the high gas prices, high fuel prices due to the strait being blocked off. What sort of vessels? I believe I'll get there. I believe they're tankers. And I believe they're also, I believe some of them are supplies, like they're actually cargo vessels, but we'll get to that. So pretty much, we are seeing high gas prices, guys. We are seeing $175 million a day in oil export revenue that is being affected by this. Also, a lot of people, I don't know if you guys know this, Gulf countries, they depend on the strait so they can get food and supplies in. They're saying that Iran is now producing more oil than it can export. It appears for the moment enough tankers are making it through the U.S. naval blockade, while remedial steps such as flaring means storage space has not run out. Independent estimates, including from the Center of Global Energy Policy at Columbia University, suggest that Iran has up to 3 weeks of free usable storage capacity. 3 weeks, guys. This is crazy. This is unfortunate. Iran confirms U.S. counterproposal to end war is being reviewed. So, guys, over the weekend, something that came out, Iran has now given their counter proposal. Trump says he's not happy with it, so I don't think we're still going to have a deal. Thank you for that facts, the count. 66 Iranians have been unalived and 13 Americans as well. I'm so glad that no more has been on our side. The Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said he confirmed officials were reviewing a U.S. counterproposal to end the war. The U.S. message has received through Pakistan, and I will not discuss the details. So basically, they're hiding it. The biggest issues has to do around enrichment of nuclear materials. So pretty much what America's saying is, look, you guys can test all you want, but there can't be any enrichment there. You need to hand it over to us. Iran says, no. I'm not giving up that enrichment because that's the only thing that ensures we are being kept safe from Israeli aggression. Feel how you want about it, but that is their position. Iran foreign minister says U.S. must abandon its excessive demands. They're saying that the U.S. must reduce its excessive demands. At this stage, our priority is to end the war. He said in a briefing broadcast by state television. So I'm curious what the demands are, but basically, from what I'm gathering, that was the last demands that I heard, was that it was all about the enrichment and what they're going to do with the uranium. Okay. So, we definitely, I understand their position on that. The whole point of this is to ensure that they do not have access to nuclear bomb. And part of that is the uranium. So I understand our position on that. That was the whole reason why we bombed them. So it would have been for naught if we allowed them to keep it. So basically, guys, breaking news. I'm hearing that Iran's news agency claims that 2 missiles struck a U.S. Navy frigate near the Jas Island after allegedly ignored the Iran warnings while attempting to transit the Strait of Hormuz. The frigate reportedly attempted passage without obtaining an Iranian permission. Okay. So Iran claims the vessel was forced to retreat after the strikes. No details yet on the damage or casualties. And the U.S. has not confirmed this. This is straight from Farsi media. So again, we don't know what we can and can't believe. This is breaking news. You heard it here first. All the major news sites are reporting this. So I guess more to come on that. Hopefully tonight we will be covering it on our Man Cave show. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was bound to happen. Iran is not playing with us. You are absolutely right. Iran is accusing the United Arab Emirates of using its OPEC exit as retaliation for Tehran's stance in the war, guys. Iran's called the UAE departure from OPEC inappropriate and not constructive. That was a big win last week, guys. The fact that we got the UAE to leave OPEC, that hurts Iran. Doesn't hurt us. It helps us because it makes us stronger with the oil reserves that we have. Iran says it will keep its own OPEC commitments regardless of them leaving. Okay. So we are in an active war, guys, regardless of how you feel about it. We are in an active war, but more to come on that. If you guys are watching, please hit the like button, tap that screen, hit the like button. We are going to switch gears here. We're going to go to our final story of the morning, guys. This is our final story. How will the latest Supreme Court ruling affect midterms, guys? How will the latest Supreme Court ruling affect midterms? And if you guys are watching for the first time, do me a favor. This is what Trump had to say about the latest ruling. Hold on, let's play this clip right here.
I want to go back to the Supreme Court ruling on the Great Rights Act. I know you said you haven't seen it.
When did it come out? Just now?
No, it came out this morning, but basically very much narrows the Voting Rights Act.
Was it considered a win for
a win for Republicans?
I love it.
But my question.
This is a very good. We can end this news conference. I want to read it.
My question
Wow.
for you, Mr. President, I want to go back to the Supreme Court ruling on the Voting Rights Act. I know you said you haven't seen it.
So Trump claims he didn't see the ruling. I would assume by now he saw it or he was playing dumb. Sometimes Trump likes to play little games and say he don't know something. I have a longer clip here for you guys. If you're watching again, please hit the like button, support the live, support independent media. I'm also accepting super chats if you are so inclined to do so. Here we go.
I want to go back to the Supreme Court ruling on the Voting Rights Act. I know you said you haven't seen it.
When did it come out? Just now?
No, it came out this morning, but basically very much narrows the Voting Rights Act.
Was it considered a win for
A
who?
win for Republicans.
I love it.
But my question.
This is a very good. We can end this news conference right now. I want to read it.
My question
Wow.
for you, Mr. President, is that some Republican governors have not responded in terms of what they're going to do. I guess early voting, for example, in Louisiana.
Republican governors, what?
Republican governors.
What about it?
Early voting begins Saturday there, for instance. Should they redraw the map in the next couple of
I would. I mean, it depends. I mean, some states don't need to redraw, and some do. I mean, I know what the concept of the road. I just haven't seen the result. Yeah, I would say generally, I would think that they would want to do it. Some are greatly helped, and some, it didn't make much difference. Yeah, I would say they would do that. They have time to do it. Yeah, please.
All right, guys. So we're going to switch gears here. If you're watching again, hit the like button. Ray is a fan of the show. He asked what happened to the debate. So, guys, we had a debate planned between Andre Williams and that opinionated girl. Unfortunately, she had to go to Israel. I'm assuming she's an influencer for Israel. She helps with their causes. So, unfortunately, she could not come. But guys, we have other debates coming for you. We host live debates on Sundays at 8 p.m. So be on the lookout. If you're subscribed, you'll get the notification bell when we schedule it. You can also go on our page and see when we have things scheduled as well. Tonight, we will be back at 8 p.m. for the Man Cave Show. We do live streams Monday through Thursday with panels from 8 p.m. live. So make sure you guys are subscribed if you're not already. But anyways, all right, guys, we're going to talk about the Supreme Court ruling. Supreme Court ruling boosts GOP midterm prospects, guys. So the Republicans, as you guys know, they are the majority in the House. They got a boost. The Supreme Court ruling that struck down a racially drawn Democrat congressional district in Louisiana could lead to multiple red states redrawing their maps. Louisiana has relayed its upcoming primary election in order to draw a new map, and Mississippi and Tennessee are now moving to do their own redistricting in light of the ruling. In fact, election handicappers are now projecting the GOP could net 7 new seats. So for everybody saying, does Trump want to lose the midterm? Does Trump want to lose the midterm? Unfortunately, he doesn't need to worry because this Supreme Court ruling was a win. And what does it essentially say? It essentially says you cannot use race as a basis for districting. Now, this can look as a bad or a good thing, depending on how you look at it. For me, as a conservative, I think it's a good thing. I don't think we should be using race as a basis for it because it can be used against you. You can cheer on today if you're one person of a specific race, but it could also be the opposite if you're on the other end. So I don't think it should be a factor. That's just me. Redistricting was already a hot issue in this year's elections, with red states like Texas and Florida countered by blue states like California and Virginia in jockeying for new seats. But the Supreme Court ruling could end up being the biggest factor in tipping the scales, guys. Brett Baer said, who's a Fox News anchor, this continues a redistricting trend that always favored Republican long-term. You're talking about a shift not only in the demographics of these states where Republicans moving to Texas and Florida, but also to the numbers of these redrawn districts. And anybody who says that the Supreme Court ruling is not going to have reverberations, they're wrong. It's going to. Absolutely. I do think it's going to. I absolutely think it is going to affect it. It's a numbers game, guys. It's all about numbers. It's all about who can get how many seats in the districts, and drawing the maps affects, very little things. You're such a tether. Thank you. So are you. I don't even know, what are you? But anyways, nevertheless, I'm an American citizen and I'm entitled to say how I feel, say what I want. And ad hominem attacks is all people have left. Now, I'm actually fair because I'm not red no matter who. I'm not red till I die. I will consider all candidates, okay? So if that makes me a tether, so be it. I'm so glad for that because I am not brainwashed to either party and either side. Ray said, if the Democrats want to survive the next decade, they have to come to the table with an FBA reparations package. Absolutely. I agree with you. I think we should not be giving our vote just because somebody's red or somebody's blue. What are you going to do for that vote? You know what I mean? And I agree with Ray. And that's the thing. Millions of Black Americans were sick of the pandering of Democrats, okay? They were sick of being force-fed BS year after year and seeing what their communities look like. That's why I became a conservative, because after a while, you can't keep being fed BS and not expect anything. I know he's such a clown, honestly. He comes in every night. I made one comment and I said that Obama's a narcissist. I think to be the president of the United States, you have to be a narcissist. I acknowledge that Trump is one, but I also think Obama's one. I think Biden was one. I think Clinton is one. Anyone who sits there and takes on that role is a narcissist. You have to love yourself to have that confidence to make these decisions. But anyways, regardless, we're going to move on. Democrats are freaking out about the ruling, calling it an evisceration of the Voting Rights Act and a return to Jim Crow, while vowing to pass the Supreme Court to address what House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffrey calls the corrupt MAGA majority on the court. Democrats see the train coming down the track. I mean, you can forecast this. They're going to have trouble in elections, especially in certain states, for a long, long time if they don't figure out how to fix this. What's so interesting to me, guys, is midterms are coming. And can you honestly say what the Democrats are promising they're at least going to do? They're just staying quiet. They're not telling you, they're not giving you a reason to vote for them. The only reason they have is Trump bad, Republicans bad. This is their opportunity. This is their opportunity to get the votes. But again, I can't even tell you the person that's running on my Democrat side for governor here. I don't even know what he stands for. All I know, for example, in Florida, is he used to be a Republican, got sick of Trump, and became a Democrat. I don't know anything he stands for, and that's unfortunate, guys. We should think that as a problem. I'm going to play this clip. This is the counter to this. This is what they're saying, why they're upset about the Supreme Court ruling.
Thomas is a political hack. I'm not sure every single one of Trump's justice appointees is as much of a hack, but when the six of them get together, I mean, did you read the Alito's opinion?
No.
Well, I hate to confess it. I used to argue before the Supreme Court, and I read the opinion, and it's shit. I mean, it's just bullshit. The whole thing is bullshit. Heather, he just made stuff up. And he wasn't even honest in saying that he was gutting Section 2. Between the Shelby versus Holder and this particular Louisiana case, Louisiana versus Calais, they've gutted the entire Voting Rights Act. So the old Confederacy is back in business. I mean, just, let's repress and suppress all of the black votes.
But what about the civil rights movement?
Listen, I'm old enough.
I know it.
To remember the civil rights movement, and a very good friend of mine was killed in Mississippi in 1964 trying to register voters. But no, this court has ended, for all intents and purposes, the Voting Rights Act of 1965.
This week makes me nervous for the midterms. I keep looking at the numbers of what are we looking at? Well, let's wait. We got to see the next one. We're 4 ahead. We're 3 back. Well, we're 2 ahead. But
I think that in terms of the redistricting, Florida, Louisiana, maybe Alabama are now all going to redistrict. And what Democrats have got to do, as they did in California and as they did in Virginia, they've got to say, wait, we are going to match you vote for vote. If you try to squeeze out additional Republican votes, we, maybe New York State, we are going to match you vote for vote. We're going to redistrict.
All right. Ooh. Guys, I'm not trying to be funny. Okay. If someone can explain it to me, I really want to understand how this limits people of color, Black people, minorities' way to vote. They haven't taken away your way to vote. So I think that this is a liberal Democrat lie to fearmonger you, to scare you, to get you to vote blue no matter who. No one has explained it to me yet. The only thing I could see is your race is not a reason for districting, and it should have been. It should never been a reason to district. It should have always been on where you live, things like that. It shouldn't be about race for districting. I've yet to hear it. I want someone to explain it to me. I want to understand, talk to me like I'm done, how this takes away your right to vote and how it limits it. Okay, the Voting Rights Act said the right of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition. How does that block your right to vote? I don't get it, how they're connecting the two. I really don't. As subsequently amended, the VRA also prohibited practices that diminish the opportunities enjoyed by members of categories of citizens protected by the Act to participate in the political process and to elect representatives of their choice. Establishing the boundaries of election districts is among such practices. So I guess they're saying that it's by the districting, it's by that. It really doesn't make sense, guys. I have not heard a valid reason yet of how districting prevents that from happening, okay? Much depends on what the word same opportunities mean. The language of the VRA implies that not only the existence, but also the number of districts in which minorities could have the chance to elect representatives affects compliance with the law. On the other hand, the law explicitly states it does not establish a right to have members of a protected class elected in numbers equal to their proportion in the population. So it doesn't protect what they're asking for. Basically, they're trying to say that they want to allow representation, but the VRA doesn't protect it. It never did. So they're saying that the Voting Rights Act has been gutted, dismantled. None of that was ever protected in any way. So again, you're being lied to. You're being force-fed crap to fearmonger you. The VRA is not necessarily violated if a racial or ethnic minority makes up 30% of a state's population, but only 50% of the delegation in the House of Representatives or state legislature. If we're really going to go by what the population looks like, 40% of Congress right now, 30% of Congress right now should be Hispanic. That's the facts, because the real majority right now are Hispanics, okay? If we're really going to be honest. But still, majority of the holders of Congress are Caucasian, they're white. So if that's the case, if you guys are okay with that, if you guys want it all racially made up, it isn't representative of it now before the ruling. Because Jeffrey said, because the racists can disenfranchise Black power unless they specific. Jeffrey, black people are being erased now. If we really gonna keep it funky, okay. Majority of minorities are Hispanic. They're not Black, Jeffrey. So your argument, you're only going to help another group of people. If you are Black, like you say you are, you're only helping another group of people be the majority. And that's, if we're really going to keep it funky, that's how it should be represented. But we don't see that regardless. That was not there regardless. Even when this came about, majority has always been Caucasian, has always been white. But majority of the country is Caucasian white. So honestly, you guys are getting mad about something that's not going to change anything. It's not going to change how things have already been. Like, I honestly really think that's crazy. So what they're saying it means for the 2026 election, the Supreme Court's decision has already evoked passionate reactions and will no doubt trigger a tidal wave of legal and constitutional arguments. Critics fear it could signal a wholesale retreat from gains Black Americans have made the past 6 decades. But there is a prior issue. What are the decisions' actual effects likely to be? So they're pretty much saying much depends on the number of states that respond to the court by convening their legislature to draw new maps. A lot of states are saying they're not doing it. I just read Georgia's not doing it. So again, people are freaking out over a moot point, I feel. I don't think it's changing anything. I don't think we're going to see it play out the way people are predicting. Because there are complexities to redistricting. I don't think we're going to see it affect the midterms, okay? Opponents of gerrymandering call for districts to be contiguous and compact and to respect existing political subdivisions, but these are not always mandated by law. Okay, so I think redistricting sometimes takes special elections. There are certain things that need to be done, and I don't think there's enough time for it to affect the midterms. Where I do think it will affect is going to be the 2028 elections, the primaries, when we see the president. Those are things that I think are going to be affected. So anyways, nevertheless, guys, I'm going to wrap up. It's been a great morning with you. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you're not already subscribed. Come back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Man Cave Show. God bless and stay safe.
Hello, history buffs. Ready for a journey back? Look at this encampment. The spirit of 76 is alive.
Freedom of our future. A true patriot savors these moments, but the fight for liberty calls. To the encampment for freedom of our future.
For liberty. This is what American patriotism is all about. Look at these flags. They represent our fight for liberty.
The hour our liberty is at hand. For freedom is proud by. Secure our liberty. My fellow patriots, the hour of decision is upon us. Let us march forth with courage to secure our liberty.
Welcome to my colonial home. Today, Del Payne's work captures the spirit of we fight for independence. And our freedom. Greetings from the encampment. The spirit of liberty is strong. We will fight for our rights and our freedom.
Hour is late. We must enact. To the encampment for liberty. Through every change and challenge. We stand at the dawn of liberty, unshaken by the trials ahead. Soldiers, the enemy is near. Front line, flapping.